What's up? What's good? It's your boy, Tommy Springfield, aka the King of Talk, back up in here with another one of these videos. What's going on, everybody? You know, it's the King of Talk. I don't normally go live, but what we doing tonight is we gonna read the Biggie Smalls federal documents, and we gonna see that the FBI knew all along who killed Biggie. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no mystery. There's a lot of stories that's been told. There's a lot of lies that's been told. And, you know, we need to get to it. We need to figure this shit out. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So, just trying to get things on my phone right. As soon as I get that, as you can see, we got the paperwork on the screen. And we just trying to get to it. That's what we trying to do. Hold on. Okay, so like I said, we got the Biggie Smalls paperwork tonight. We definitely gonna be skimming through it. We ain't gonna read the whole thing because it's three separate files. This file right here is 165 pages. So we just gonna skim through it and see what we can figure out. It's heavily redacted. As you can see, all those squares, all those boxes mean that they hiding people's names or whoever it is because they don't want people to know. There's a lot of CIs in this case. There's a lot of witnesses in this case. And they don't want you to know. As you can see, the date of this paperwork is 12/16/2002, Los Angeles. SA, that's special agent. He's not, they're not showing his name. Approved by, they're not showing their name. Officers, they're not showing their name. But Los Angeles Police Department, Christopher Wallace, murder, aka Notorious Big. So we know CIs in this case. There's a lot of witnesses in this case. And, so we know that this is legit federal paperwork. As you can see, this is no fake paperwork. This is the real deal. And, stuff be on the internet. You just got to get it. So let's get to reading. Request that caption matter be opened as a full-field investigation and be assigned a Los Angeles case file number. It is requested special agent be assigned case agent. Details. On March 9th, 1997, Christopher Wallace, aka Notorious Big, was murdered as he left the Peterson Automotive Museum in Los Angeles after attending post-music awards ceremony. Wallace was in the middle car of a three-car caravan with a dark Chevy SS. When a dark Chevy SS Impala pulled up next to him and fired several shots into the passenger area where Wallace was sitting. Wallace died minutes later at a local hospital. Several sources had identified the shooter as a light-skinned black male wearing a suit and a bow tie. From all the stories we heard on the internet, we would believe that is Amir Muhammad, allegedly. Amir Muhammad, allegedly. That's who that is. Amir Muhammad allegedly has been identified by several sources as the triggerman. It has also been noted by several sources that blank other LAPD officers attended this party and were seen with blank Amir Muhammad allegedly just prior to the shooting. Amir Muhammad allegedly Because it's blocked. We don't know, but we know we done heard Gene Deal tell the story. We done heard Lil Cease tell the story. We done heard Reggie White tell the story. We done heard enough people tell this story where we can fill in some of these blanks. Just prior to the shooting, Amir Muhammad allegedly is a registered owner of a 1995 black SS Impala with chrome wheels. The exact description given as being driven by Wallace's shooter. More redactions. We don't know what that say. We don't know who that is. Sources have stated other LAPD officers were present and seen talking on cell phones when Wallace was leaving the party and entering his car. Blank has identified Blank as confronting Wallace's caravan just prior to his shooting. Well, we gonna take a guess. Gene Deal allegedly have identified Amir Muhammad as confronting Wallace's caravan just prior to his shooting. Now, mind you, this is allegedly Gene Deal, because we know from Gene Deal, aka Gene Squill, we know that Gene Deal 1,000 times have told the story that the guy came up to them with the bow tie right before he said he had his gun in his hand, and the dude just walked on. So we know that's Gene Deal allegedly. But sources have stated other LAPD officers was present and seen talking on a cell phone when Wallace was leaving the party and entering his car. Gene Deal allegedly have identified Amir Muhammad allegedly as confronting Wallace's caravan just prior to his shooting. It alleges the same tactics Blank was used to pull off the Wallace murder. Because of the professional manner in which the Wallace murder took place, it is alleged that not only could one gang member, Blank, my Pyru Blood, not pull this off, but it would have taken a large contingency of people/officers. After a search warrant was served at Blank residence, it was discovered in his garage he had a shrine of Tupac Shakur and numerous 9mm guns and ammunition. So, once again, we know that can be Amir Muhammad, because allegedly we know Amir Muhammad owned the Impala. We know that there was a search warrant served, and we know he had a shrine and they found ammunition. So let's get back to the reading. So, had a shrine of Tupac Shakur and numerous 9mm guns and ammunition, LAPD radio scanners, and other tactical items. Note, a 9mm gun was used to kill Wallace with very rare Greco 9mm ammunition. Tupac was killed in Las Vegas in September 1996, 6 months prior to Wallace being shot. It is alleged that the Wallace murder was in retaliation to the Tupac murder. Tupac worked for Death Row Records at the time he was shot, West Coast, while Wallace worked for Bad Boy Records, East Coast. Both were worth millions, and there was a rivalry going on between East Coast rap versus West Coast rap. LAPD officer and other alleged LAPD officers and other alleged LAPD officers were Mob Pyru Blood gang members that worked with and affiliated with Death Row Records. When Tupac was killed, it was alleged by many that Wallace was killed in retaliation, and that this was orchestrated by Blank, his good friend, and other LAPD officers that associated with. LAPD subsequently opened up a homicide case after the Wallace murder and has not been able to locate Blank or solve the murder. Sources within the LAPD have stated Blank thwarted the murder investigation when Blank and other LAPD officers began to show up as potentially being involved. Subsequently, a federal civil lawsuit was filed charging police negligence and cover-up in the murder of the Christopher Wallace. Now, if you pay attention to that statement, LAPD, I can't say the word, subsequently opened up a homicide case after the Wallace murder and has not been able to locate blank or solve the murder. Sources within the LAPD have stated blank thwarted the murder investigation when blank and other LAPD officers began to show up as potentially being involved. So, basically, they had a hard time solving this case or didn't want to solve this case because it was starting to look like other police was involved, which is what everybody has been saying all the whole time. My good old iced tea, folks. Okay, so we know SA stand for Special Agent Blank has met with blank attorneys who stated that they will make a copy and provide their entire federal civil case blank. The LAPD has also been briefed on caption case and has stated he will have robbery homicide LAPD who has been investigating caption case provide their case filed as well. Numerous sources have stated they will cooperate with the FBI in attempts to determine what role LAPD officers played in the murder of Wallace. One source has stated. Well, that's redacted, so we can't assume, we don't know. So we got date property acquired, source from which property acquired. So on 12/12/23, somebody gave police some type of evidence. Description of the property, we can't get none of that. So we gonna keep scrolling. Date property acquired, 12 anticipation, so let's keep scrolling and see what we can find. Mind you, I haven't looked over these papers, so just bear with me. Okay, here we go. The following is a synopsis regarding the murder of Christopher Wallace, aka Notorious Big, B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, that occurred on March 9th, 1997 in Los Angeles, California. At the time of his murder, Biggie was the #1 rap artist for Bad Boy Records based in New York. Tupac Shakur was shot and killed in Las Vegas, Nevada in September 1996, 6 months prior to Biggie being killed. Tupac was the #1 rap artist for Death Row Records, which is based in Compton, California. Death Row. Death Row blank, Bad Boy blank. There was an ongoing rivalry between East Coast rap versus West Coast rap that escalated as Tupac West Coast was killed and that Biggie East Coast was killed in retaliation. Neither murder has been solved. Tupac and Biggie became friends as they both began rapping on the East Coast, with Biggie opening up at gigs for Tupac. Tupac was signed by Bad Boy Records. What? I don't know nothing about that. But Tupac was signed by Bad Boy Records blank. As Tupac got in trouble, including being shot at and convicted for rape, among other things, he ended up spending time in jail. During this time, Biggie's rap career began to flourish. Because of Tupac's bad reputation, blank distanced himself from Tupac and stepped blank Death Row Records. Flew out to New York, bailed Tupac out of jail, and signed him to Death Row West Coast, where he made millions blank at this time. Biggie was being named Rapper of the Year and making millions for Bad Boy. The following is a short chronological of events that led up to the shooting death of Tupac and the retaliation of Biggie, where alleged LAPD officers were involved. So, basically, we gonna run through everything that happened and all that stuff. All that good stuff there. So, September 93, a Death Row artist was charged along with 2 other Death Row employees in the murder of a gang member in Los Angeles. Forensic and ballistic evidence crucial to the case in the possession of the LAPD Pacific Division became missing. At the time the evidence became missing, LAPD officer Kevin Gaines was living with blank, was producing a major part of death row was subsequently acquitted. If I'm correct, Kevin Gaines was living with Suge Knight's baby mama because he was dating her. But as you can see, what the fuck, man? Remind me later. Why you popping? See, that was dumb. Because I closed it out. It pops up. What the fuck? Close. So, September 93, Blank, a death row artist, was charged along with 2 other death row employees in the murder of a gang member in Los Angeles. Well, we know that's Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg got into the shootout with him and his bodyguard, and I think his man got arrested. Forensic evidence crucial to, and we know that Snoop ended up beating the case because evidence went missing. And we know, allegedly, through all the things we seen on YouTube, the stuff came up missing, and it was alleged that Suge Knight paid, and evidence came up missing. No, Kevin Gaines was shot and killed on March 18, 1997, as Gaines, while off-duty, brandished a gun and blood gang member signs Blank while Blank was at a stoplight. Blank did not know Gaines was a LAPD officer. Blank shot. Well, we know all the blanks in this one. It's an officer named Frank Liger. Allegedly. You can go look it up. Frank Liger allegedly was the guy who got into it at the light with Kevin Gaines. He was another cop. But then things came out later that it might have been a hit on Kevin Gaines and by the police department, and Frank Liger have said things and wasn't remorseful for killing who we thought was a gang member, but what turned out to be another cop. So let's go. Let's keep it moving. Gaines shot Gaines twice, killing him before Gaines was able to pull his trigger. Frank Liger allegedly was subsequently cleared of all misconduct. Gaines was an admitted blood gang member, and Blank had an active role in death row activities. October 1st, 1993, Tupac was arrested for allegedly shooting an off-duty Atlanta police officer. Charges were subsequently dropped. November 1st, 1994, Tupac was shot 5 times during a robbery in the lobby of Quad Recording Studios in Times Square, New York. Biggie and members of his entourage was inside the same studio at this time. Without evidence, Tupac and members of Death Row believed Biggie had knowledge or involvement in the shooting. And we know that Biggie had knowledge and he knew who did it, for the simple fact is Biggie had warned Tupac to not be hanging with the dudes he was hanging with. So, we knew that Puffy and them knew a little something. You know what I'm saying? And as you can see, Pac was just back to back getting in trouble. A gang member, on March 13th, 1995, a gang member is murdered at the El Rey Theater in Los Angeles. Many of the security people are off-duty police officers from Long Beach PD, Compton PD, Inglewood PD, Hawthorne PD, and LAPD, all working for Right Way Securities, who handled, all death row security at the time. The victim was beaten by numerous blood gang members, Death Row, Blank, and many police officers working for Death Row. Were blood gang members. Right Way Blank, a former Compton police officer, Reggie, that's Reggie, right Way Security. So let me give you an insider on Right Way Security. So Right Way Security belongs to fat ass Reggie Wright, who be over there on the internet capping and talking and running his mouth. And he's a federal informant. And And he was a cop that got caught selling drugs and stuff, all the, things that dirty cops do. So we know they're talking about right-way security. Reggie dropped the ball, wasn't guarding Pac properly, and that's why Pac is no longer here. So, 1995 Source Awards, while on stage in front of a natural audience, Blank Death Row makes antagonizing remarks toward Bad Boys. And we know that Suge Knight, when he famously got on the stage and he said, what y'all, you want to be all up in the videos, you don't want the executive producer all in the background of your song, come to Death Row. So we know that was Snoop, allegedly, because we got to say allegedly because everything is blacked out, so we don't know for sure, but we know for sure. So November 1st, 1995, 1 month after the Source Awards, Blank accuses Blank for Atlanta murder of Jason Robles. Blank was with Blank when he was fatally shot, which was the result of an argument between Death Row and Bad Boy employees. Okay, so we know 1 month after the Source Awards, Blank accuses Blank for Atlanta murder of So, Blank is Suge. Suge Knight accuses Puffy for murdering his boy, Jason Robles. Suge was with him when he was fatally shot, which was a result of an argument between Death Row and Bad Boys. Blank C. September 7th, 1996 in Congo was identified by a police officer as being involved in this killing. Detective Blank, NYPD, FBI task force has source who stated Blank was involved, who is a bodyguard. So, we know this was a situation where they tried to say Wolf killed Jake, which was Suge's boy. Suge always said Puff and them had something to do with it. So we know what those blanks is. So November 1st, 1995, same day, Biggie is named Rap Artist of the Year by Billboard magazine. At this time, Tupac was recovering from the 1994 shooting and was charged with rape from a separate incident. November 5th, 1995. LAPD officer Blank is investigated for working for Death Row, a violation of LAPD policy. Late 1995, recording artist Randy Stretch Walker, believed to be of Death Row, was murdered in a drive-by shooting in Queens, New York. Winter 95. Shots are fired at a trailer being used to record a video by Snoop Dogg of Death Row, who at the time was making millions for Death Row. Allegedly, Snoop. We know Snoop was in New York, and that's when they was filming New York, big city of dreams, and always would it seem. That's when Snoop and them made that video, crushing buildings in New York. And Biggie got on the radio and was like, these dudes in New York and they doing this and that, and people went down and allegedly shot up the trailer. Winter 95, Bad Boy released recording by Biggie titled Who Shot You? Death Row states they believe the song was in reference to November 1994 shooting of Tupac of Death Row in Queens, New York. December 18th, 1995. Following MTV Awards, Blank was reported beaten by members of Death Row who were seeking information on the whereabouts of Blank Bad Boy. I can't remember who that was, but there was this dude, he was at a Death Row party, and he was beaten up by Death Row because Suge, whereabouts of, they wanted to know where Puffy lived, allegedly. But we know from past stories on the internet. That's what I'm saying. You reading this and you can just take all the things you already know and you can fill in the boxes. Blank recalled hearing radio communication about this from police officers who were present. When he was released, LA County police officers were present. 2 off-duty officers were present at the Death Row party during the beating. It is alleged that Death Row security who beat Blank were LAPD officers working off duty for Death Row, the same 2 officers later seen at Death Row party. So, May 1996, Death Row was investigated for zoning violations associated with numerous crimes of violence. Reports of this state there are armed security guards at this location in plain clothes and in security uniforms. These security officers are off-duty police officers and retired officers which are employed by Death Row. So in 96, Death Row gets investigated for zoning violations associated with numerous crimes of violence. Reports of this state there are armed security guards at this location in plain clothes and in security uniforms. Okay, so March 7, 1996, fight breaks out between Death Row and Bad Boy employees in the VIP section at the 1996 Soul Train Awards with guns being brandished. Officers responded and stated Blank was present with 15 to 20 guys, 20 additional gang members along with armed security guards. Also present are off-duty police officers from Hawthorne PD and LAPD Metro officers, among other agencies. Responding officers added these off-duty officers work for Blank, Suge Knight, Blank as Death Row as bodyguards. Allegedly. So, June 1st, 1996, LAPD is informed that the ATF was conducting an investigation of Death Row concerning firearm violations and that the IRS was conducting a simultaneously tax investigation. So in June in 96, LAPD was told, hey man, the ATF is investigating Death Row, there's firearm violations, and the IRS was conducting tax investigations. And we know all this to be true. And if you listen to pop music, he say in one of his songs, I can't remember the song, but he says that, FBI is watching and the Fed's watching and they had been tipped off. So June 2nd, 1996, a meeting between LAPD and Death Row takes place to discuss dissatisfaction with the armed security personnel and the use of off-duty police officers. August 18th, 1996. 4 identified gang members were arrested as they left Death Row. 1 semi-automatic handgun and 2 ski masks are recovered. September 7th, 1996. Blank rap artist for Bad Boy was beaten at the MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas on the night of the Tyson versus Holyfield fight, and Tupac and other gang members were involved. They're trying to, I'm assuming they're talking about Orlando Anderson, right? Allegedly, because we know he was beat up at the MGM Grand Hotel, but I don't think he was down with Bad Boy. But then again, Bad Boy was rolling with Keith E.D., and so that's where the connection comes in, that he was down with Bad Boy. And other Death Row members were involved in the assault, which was caught on videotape. September 7th, 1996, same night, LAPD officers blank were present in Las Vegas for the Tyson Holyfield fight. September 7th, same night, Tupac of Death Row was shot and killed in Las Vegas in the car driven blank by Suge Knight. We know that. But we gotta say allegedly as they left the MGM Grand. This occurred approximately 2 hours after the beating of Orlando by Death Row, Tupac, and others. Tupac died 6 days later from his gunshots. Remind you, when we fill in the boxes, they're just allegations. We're not sure who these people is. Wink, wink. September 9th, 1996. According to Compton PD search warrant, gang members of a gang associated with Death Row met at Looters Park in Los Angeles to discuss the retaliation against Southside Crip gang members for the Tupac shooting. After this meeting, LAPD learned that Blank, an Inglewood school police officer, was working for Death Row. October 22nd, 1996, Blank was incarcerated in LA County Jail for probation violation. The beating Blank at the MGM Grand with Tupac. So we know Suge was incarcerated for the beating of Orlando Anderson at the MGM Grand with Tupac. Allegedly, that's who that was. October 23, 1996. While LAPD is interviewing death row employees, the interview was disrupted by Blank, a San Bernardino Reserve officer working security for death row. November 4th, 1996. FBI Los Angeles received a call from an LAPD officer identifying himself as Officer Blank, inquiring whether the FBI had an ongoing investigation in death row. Blank was investigated for ties to death row in November of 1995. I mean, we can guess, we can say we think they talking about Reggie White, but I'm not sure. March 9th. Biggie is shot and killed as he leaves the Peterson Automotive Museum party in Los Angeles. A dark Chevy SS Impala pulls up next to Biggie's car and shoots several times into the passenger area where Biggie is sitting. Ballistic examinations of the shell casings revealed the weapon used was a 9mm and the brand of ammunition was made by Greco, is a metal piercing round made in Europe and rarely found in the U.S. Now, I'm not going to go back because I've been done lose my space, but if you remember, Amir Muhammad allegedly was caught with 9mm Greco bullets, and he drove a Chevy Impala. Biggie was killed by a Chevy Impala and Greco 9mm bullets. So we know that the feds knew who killed Biggie, and they still know who killed Biggie to this day. But the thing is, them dudes were cops, and they're not going to say cops killed Biggie. So shortly after the murder of Biggie, an anonymous person placed a telephone call to Blank, New York, and stated that a person identified as Blank was involved in Blank killing. Blank spoke with the LAPD, gave them this information, and was simply told by the LAPD there are over 500 Blanks in the phone directory. No further follow-up was done by the LAPD. Blank did not learn there was a LAPD officer named Blank discuss lather in write-up until reading the June 7, 2001 article in Rolling Stones magazine. After the murder of Biggie, LAPD officers learned that an informant that stated Blank to murder Biggie. Blank had a reputation of owning Blank death row. Suge Knight. Blank had a reputation of owing death row lots of money and allegedly got them to peddle drugs or they would not get paid. Word in the street was cocaine could be purchased for $14,000 a key on the West Coast and sold on the East Coast for $24,000 a kilo. A lot of East Coast rappers like Tupac working at death row at one point. At one point, Blank owed Tupac around $10 million. So we can just jump out the window and assume that Suge Knight, who else at death row would owe Tupac $10 million? But remember, these is all alleged. Tupac and others began complaining about Blank, all the money he owed them. Suge Knight, allegedly. Eventually, most Blank top artists left death row because of this, even though they feared for their life. These artists included Blank and Blank amongst others. We know Snoop Dogg was one of the artists that left, allegedly. So, witnesses to interview, all CIs have been identified. So now we're going into some real murky water. We talking about now who. My fault. We're talking about CIs, people that witness stuff. So, this could be your little C's, this could be your Jing Dill, this could be anybody out the bad boy crew, allegedly. It is alleged from several sources that Blank owed Tupac millions of dollars from royalties and that Tupac was soon going to be leaving death row and blow the whistle on Blank and his drug activities. So we can easily say that's Suge Knight, allegedly, because who at death row would owe Tupac millions of dollars? We know before Pac died, he was auditing death row because he felt he was owed money. So we can fill that box in. It's allegedly from several sources that Suge Knight owed allegedly Tupac millions of dollars from royalties and that Tupac was going to leave death row and blow the whistle on Suge allegedly in his drug activities. From many sources, Blank made it look like LA Crips committed both of the Tupac and Biggie murders. Now, you can put Suge name there. You can put Reggie Wright name there because, allegedly you can put their name there. But we know Reggie Wright told one cop, this gang killed Pac. Then he turned around and told the same cop, nah, this gang killed Biggie. So it could be from many sources. Blank made it look like LA Crips committed both the Tupac and Biggie murders. Allegedly, Blank was involved in the killing of Tupac in Las Vegas. Blank when Tupac was shot. Blank, Tupac, and Blank worked for Death Row, who Tupac told about taking unreleased songs worth millions with him. So, we know Tupac had a bodyguard named Frank, and he used to talk to Frank. And if I'm correct, Frank did a video. Frank is no longer with us, but Frank did a video and said Pac was going to take his. But, we don't care about Frank. May he rest in peace. We care about him, but we don't got a name Frank. Frank was a good dude. He did whatever he can for Pac. He just was in a bad situation. Reggie and them put up in a bad situation. He wasn't able to guard Pac like he was. And if he followed Frank before he left this earth, he was very distraught and very broken by the murder of Tupac. But anyway, so CI, number one, who was willing to talk with Ryder, believes Blank and his people were involved in the Biggie killing and made it look like a retaliation for Tupac killing. CI 1 Blank now dislikes him very much. CI 1 can show Ryder Blank while working for Death Row. CI 2 states that Biggie states blank, the Biggie killing blank, LAPD officers were in a meeting to plan the hit on Biggie. So we got a CI who's claiming we know these police officers was planning a hit on Biggie. Now we go to CI 3. Biggie saw a shooter who killed him, gave composite that matches his exact description, including what he was wearing and the car he drove. So, let's jump out the window on this one. CI number 3 could be Little C's. Because we know Little C's gave an exact description of Amir Hamid. That's the other one. Allegedly, that's the other box. Gave a description. Now, CI 4, just prior to the Biggie murder, picked out in a six-pack as someone who went to before the murder. States was wearing a blue suit with bow tie and white shirt, brown skin and receding hairline. Stated nobody at LAPD or anyone else has ever shown him a picture. And a PI made a video recording of this interview. So, CI4 stated this is exactly the same descriptions others gave of the shooter. So, we gonna jump out the window again on CI4. We know, and there's a video out there that Gene Dill, Puffy bodyguard, picked out Amir Muhammad. We know Gene Dill said there was a light-skinned dude in a Muslim suit with a blue suit with a bow tie that came up. Allegedly, that was Amir Muhammad, and allegedly Gene Dill picked him out of a six-pack. We know these things, but we still have to say allegedly because I'm just a little YouTuber and I can't afford to pay nobody. So, CI number 5 states in the LA Sheriff document that blank killed Biggie. Lieutenant Blank from Universal Substances has his name on top of this document. CI number 6 in February 1998 picks out Blank as being someone always seen at death row functions. In May 1998, CI states he has knowledge regarding the Biggie killing and asks to speak with the assistant DA. CI is denied. Wow. So, CI number 6 in February 98, he picks out, we don't know. Did he pick out Amir Muhammad? We don't know, and I'm not going to guess because I don't know. But in May 98, the CI said he has knowledge regarding the Biggie killing and asks to speak with the assistant DA. The DA said, nah, I don't want to speak to you. Why is that? Could it be at this time you already got 5 CIs and you know who did it? Or could it be at this time that you know this person is going to tell you something you don't want to hear? We don't know. So CI number 7, in September of 1998, blank acts to investigate blank involvement of Biggie shooting, which blank is already investigating. CI number 7, blank specifically told CI number 7, blank involvement. CI provided writer with all blank attorneys and the 10 eyewitnesses they plan to call in the federal civil lawsuit against the LAPD. CI stated he can arrange to have all 10 cooperate with the FBI as they will not speak with the LAPD. So, CI number 7 said, yo, I can get you 10 eyewitnesses. And he gave with all blank attorneys, I would say Biggie Mom's attorneys and the 10 eyewitnesses that I planned to call in the federal lawsuit. The only federal lawsuit was when Biggie Mom was suing. So we know who that is, allegedly. CI number 8. A 40 caliber Glock, blank, a death row function blank prior to Tupac killing. CI does not know what happened with the gun. Note, 40 caliber Glock was used to kill Tupac. So, allegedly, we know from all the things we heard on the internet that in Reggie Wright run his big mouth and all the people that run their mouth. So we know that I can't remember who it was, but somebody from Death Row was leaving Death Row and they got caught with a 40 caliber. And the funny thing is, I think Reggie took that gun. If I'm allegedly, Reggie Wright took that gun, and then it's funny because that 40 caliber gun was used to kill Tupac. So the same gun that was taken at Death Row Studios by Reggie Wright allegedly later was used to kill Tupac. Interesting. CI number 9. Blank, Biggie, blank, a dark SS Impala pulled up and shot at Biggie. The shooter was a Muslim-looking person who he could identify. So CI number 9 could be anybody. You know, up earlier we thought it was Little C. CI 9 could be Little C's. You know what I'm saying? But we know blank, a dark SS Impala. Now, we know from just reading this, and I know from all the times I done heard this goddamn story, that Amir Muhammad has a dark SS Impala, and he was caught with 9mm Greco bullets that Biggie was killed with. Those type of bullets. We know that. CI number 10, blank, saw the suspect helped with the composite. Blank, information regarding other corrupt LAPD officers. Blank, the Kevin Gaines road rage killing. Blank. Word. Blank is Puerto Rican and has been known to hang out there. The 6 kilos of cocaine blank, which started the whole rampant investigation, blank, a case in retaliation for killing Kevin Gaines, blank, blank, allegedly did this to make blank, blank look bad and hopefully have him found guilty of negligence for shooting Kevin Gaines. Well, so, once again, from reading books and being on the internet, I can fill in some of these blanks. So, there was a situation after Kevin Gaines was killed. Allegedly, I think something Mac and the other cops, they robbed banks or whatever, allegedly. Well, they were going into the evidence room signing out drugs, bringing back baby powder or baking soda, and then they were blaming it on Frank Lager, allegedly. Liger. And Frank Liger is the one that killed Kevin Gaines. So they're trying to say these dudes was taking the coke, putting fake coke back. It's using his name to sign out, trying to get him in trouble, and hopefully he got convicted of the Kevin Gaines thing. So 4, blank involvement in death row records. CIs have numerous pictures with blank and other LAPD officers blank at death row functions. The Biggie killing. 5, blank told the LAPD nothing on any of these 5 areas. Blank states in an interview they were very disappointed in this and that the FBI rampant investigation never addressed these issues either. Note, blank, the planting of a gun and the cover-up of shooting, blank, implicated 70 officers as being involved in rampant. Only 2 blank were ever found guilty. They pleaded. 5 officers was fired and 7 resigned. Blank failed 5 different polygraphs administered by the LAPD. The FBI never polygraphed. The following is a list of persons associated with death row records and their value to solving the law enforcement officers what law enforcement officers were involved in the Biggie shooting. Death row records. So, with that box of seeing those people that was under that box, so those people in that box work for death row. And there's a list of associated with death row and their value to solving the law enforcement agencies were involved in. So somebody was supposed to have wear death row. Now, also another thing we forget, they allege that what's his name? Big James or James, whatever the dude that be on there with Reggie Wright was an informant too. Main rap stars Tupac Shakur murdered in Las Vegas September 96 and blank. And then the head of legal caution blank was in charge of overseeing blank probation, alleged to have ridden the Malibu home. Blank actually lived in the home. Blank. So to death row. Blank has 6 been suspended. Blank for conflict of interest and may have been recently fired. Okay, so from this, we know there was this DA in LA and Suge let him use his Malibu home and they was getting special treatment from this DA. And we believe Suge Knight allegedly was paying his DA off because this DA had a white daughter. He was white. He had a daughter that wanted to be a rapper, and she was signed to death row, but she never put out an album. So, you know, if you're right, that's how the DA was getting his money. Oh, no, Suge paid my daughter. She's on the label. So that's how that DA was getting paid. But he was living in Suge's Malibu home, and as you can see, he was suspended and maybe fired recently. So blank. Allegedly was coerced by intimidation. Blank, scared for his life and currently in hiding. Blank. Somebody's hiding. Yafu Fula, witness to Tupac murder in Las Vegas, found shot to death in East Orange, New Jersey, shortly after Tupac's murder, was a key witness on who was involved in Tupac's shooting. According to Blank Orange, New Jersey PD, a 16 and 17-year-old subject have been arrested for Fula's murder. Information blank regarding Biggie's murder. Blank, CI, blank, the shooter's name of Biggie, blank. Witness of shooting IDs blank as wearing a suit and bow tie the night of Biggie murder. Other witnesses say a light-skinned male with a suit and bow tie was walking toward a dark SS Impala where shooting occurred. Surveillance video shows night of murder, a male same height and weight blank on the property where shooting occurred. LAPD sketch of shooter is a dead ringer, blank, no, in the beating blank of the MGM the night Tupac was killed. So, okay, so the Fula thing, I don't know much about it. He claimed he seen the shooter and he was dead quick. They didn't even get the information from him. So, boom. Now we go down here. A witness of the shooter IDs Amir Muhammad as wearing a suit and a bow tie. As you done heard me say a few times tonight, that Gene Dill described the dude wearing a suit and a bow tie. Lil C's described the dude wearing a suit and a bow tie. And now we got another CI describing the guy in the suit and bow tie. So, and we got sketches of the shooter. He's dead ringer. Right? So, blank affiliate with some religious group. So we know blank, which is Amir Muhammad, is affiliated with a religious group, Muslims. Blank, allegedly, but we know. Blank. A search of blank house shows evidence linking him to the Biggie murder. Had a shrine in his garage of Tupac. Blank and confessed blank involvement. Never been interviewed regarding blank possible involvement in Biggie shooting. So we know that's Amir Muhammad. We know they raided his crib. He had a shrine of Tupac. And we know that he had an Impala. We know that he's the guy in the bow tie and the hat. But evidently the feds don't know because he's not arrested. Second suspect of robbery never identified could be blank has not stated who the second suspect is. Blank is the registered owner of a 1995 black SS Impala with chrome wheels. Exact same car used to kill Biggie. Very few of these are sold in Southern California, and blank used this 1995 black SS Impala blank. He also did this before and after the Biggie shooting. Blank never did this at other times. So what they're saying is, and what we know is, that at this time, if I'm right, I can't remember, was it Kevin Gaines? Somebody took days off of work before and after the Biggie murder, but they never ever took days off before. And we know from all the things we hear and read that Kevin Gaines was in LA on special assignment. That's all we know. But he wasn't with Death Row in them, but he was in Vegas on special assignment. Okay, the first person to visit blank was blank. Witness states blank was present at Peterson Automotive Vehicle Museum party the night of the Biggie murder. Blank used LAPD radios in blank and knew how police would respond. Search blank discovered LAPD equipment used blank, which would have been highly useful in conducting the Biggie murder. Day after Biggie shooting, LAPD interviewed CI who implicated blank. Shots were fired in front of the building where Biggie was killed. Lots of off-duty police officers who were present went where the shots were fired, leaving no LAPD officers when Biggie is shot. So, what happened was, we know, Well, I know from reading things, don't know if you know, but you should know because your shit been all on the internet. When they kicked everybody out the Peterson Museum, in the hood, they call that the old rope-a-dope. Some shots was fired in the front of the building of the Automotive Museum. So all cops run to the front, which left no cops in the back for Biggie. Or no cops in the back, you know what I'm saying? It was just a clean slate. Because they do the okie doke, shot the shots in the front, all police go to the front. Now the back is clear just to do what you got to do. So, shots was fired in front of the building where Biggie was killed. Lots of off-duty police officers who were present went where the shots was fired, leaving no LAPD officers when Biggie is shot. Very professional, same as bank robbery. This allowed the Biggie killer to strike at the night time when no officers are around. Anonymous caller blank blank was involved in admitted Mob Piru gang members. Search warrant blank found 5 9mm handguns and numerous rounds of ammunition, some being Greco 9mm, same round that killed Biggie and really found in the U.S. No ballistics to compare what killed Biggie and what was found. And what was found blank has been performed. So, they keep going back to the Greco bullets, which is rare in the United States. Notice they keep saying that. They're rare in the United States. This dude got caught with 5 9mm, which Biggie was killed with a 9mm. And he had Greco bullets. And everybody's saying he did it. But I'm a little confused. We know some being Greco rounds. Same round that killed Biggie and rarely found in the U.S. No ballistics to compare what killed Biggie and what was found blank has been performed. So, there was no bullets in Biggie to match with the bullets at his crib. I'm confused. Other possible suspects blank is blank who is with blank when blank picked up his vehicle from Park Center. He showed up blank when the search warrant was executed. Blank, who was a Compton Piru blood gang member, blank was arrested in a Redondo Beach sting operation. Blank LAPD detective blank still stole vehicles for blank activities. He also admitted to blank parking blank in garage. Blank were all best friends. Blank shot a suspect dead who was about to shoot. Blank allegedly was stated he owes his life and would do anything for him. Blank are Muslims. So, now we getting into David Mack, allegedly. These blanks are David Mack and Amir Muhammad because they was friends and it's alleged that they robbed a bank together. But David Mack did time for the bank. They never found the money. Allegedly, the police chief at the time and talked to him. Basically, they're alleging like, man, shut up, do your time, and everything gonna be good. We ain't worried about the money that you took. Just shut up, do your time. And that's what happened. He did his time. And David Mack did his time. The money was never found. He's out now. So I'm pretty sure he got that money. Okay. And we know David Mack and them, they was part of Rampart and they killed somebody. So that's, allegedly that's those boxes. When blank felony promotion was revoked and was sent back to prison, he immediately aligned himself with the Muslims. The following is a list of Leos who work security for Right Way Security. So when Suge went back to jail for felony probation was revoked and he was sent back to prison, he immediately aligned himself with the Muslims. So are they saying Suge? Because we know Suge, I don't know. The following is a list of Leos who worked security for Right Way Security. So there was a list of cops, list of Leos that worked for Reggie, but we can't see it. The following is a list of Inglewood officers who worked for Biggie the night of his murder. So Biggie had cops, Inglewood officers, which was dumb because you got LA cops guarding you and you're killed allegedly by LA cop. Never was going to solve that. LA definitely was never going to solve that case. So Biggie and his entourage had connections with the Genovese crime family in New York. It is possible that video and surveillance was conducted by NYPD that might contain pictures of those involved in the Biggie murder, including blank and or other legal officers. 2 investigators, blank, Department of Treasury, telephone number, blank, and Detective Blank, Case Squad of New York, telephone number, blank, pager, blank, stated they were investigating Biggie, blank, for gun violations and possible murders and took pictures while in Los Angeles during the Biggie murder. So, what you just read, what you just heard me read is Biggie was under surveillance, right? They say possibly, but at the end of the day, there were, there's video of what happened to Biggie. There's police video of what happened to Biggie. There's police video of who killed Biggie. But as you can see, this shit is heavily redacted. They're not going to release the video. But I'll read it again. Biggie and his entourage had connections with the Genovese crime family in New York. It is possible that video and or surveillance was conducted by NYPD that might contain pictures of those involved in the Biggie murder, including blank and or LEO officers. So, 2 investigators, the blank, Department of the Treasury, telephone number, blank, and Detective Blank, Case Squad of New York, NYPD, telephone number, blank, pager, blank, stated they were investigating Biggie, blank, for gun violations and possible murders and took pictures while in Las Vegas during the Biggie murder. So we know there's pictures. Blank, LAPD officers worked for death row as security officers, and many of them were involved in the crime. To this day, Blank has not been located or interviewed by the LAPD. Blank has refused to be questioned by the LAPD regarding the Biggie Smalls murder. According to a CI, LAPD has also never matched the ammunition found blank during the search after the bank robbery with the bullets. So, Amir Muhammad and David Mack are friends. Amir Muhammad visited David Mack in prison. They allege Amir Muhammad and Mack took part in the Biggie murder. So, we got them on the Biggie murder, bank robbery. You raid his crib, you find 9mm bullets. There's ammunition found, bank robbery. During the search after the bank robbery, which the bullets used to kill Biggie, ATF agent Blank, an ammunition expert, stated the bullets that killed Biggie is called Greco ammunition and manufactured in Germany. The only 2 distributors of this ammunition in the entire USA is Blank in Corona, California, telephone number blank, and in Cluster, New Jersey, telephone number blank. It is unclear whether the 9mm Greco ammunition has ever been compared to some of the 9mm ammunition found blank that is believed to also be Greco ammunition. So, we know there's only 2 places in the whole United States that you can get these bullets, right? It's only 2. So, it's not... we know just from what I read so far, and I'm only on page 19, it's 160... It's 140 something more pages, 42, 41 more pages. So, we know who killed Biggie. The feds know who killed Biggie. But it's the police that killed Biggie. So, police don't want to arrest the police. So let's continue. It is alleged by several CIs that blank were directly involved in the Biggie murder and that other police officers were aware and present as well. Blank, who was convicted of possession with intent to distribute cocaine in Las Vegas, was known was a known death row groupie. It's also widely known amongst LAPD officer Blank were two of the Chief Park's personal recruits into LAPD. Once CI... Wait, let me read that again. It is alleged by several CIs that Blank were directly involved in the Biggie murder and that other police officers were aware and or present as well. Blank, who was convicted of possession with intent to distribute cocaine in Las Vegas, was a known death row groupie. It is also widely known amongst LAPD officers Blank were two of Chief Park's personal recruits into the LAPD. Once CI started linking LAPD officers with the Biggie killing, he was told to stop and not bring LAPD officers into the investigation. Blank, Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD, Detective Major Narcotics Division, serial number blank, telephone number blank, was interviewed at 11 Wilshire Boulevard in Las Angeles. LAPD Sergeant Blank was present during the interview. After being advised of the identity of the interviewing agent and the nature of the interview, he provided the following information. After Blank's shooting incident involving LAPD officer Kevin Gaines, Blank is when he realized there seemed to be a cover-up on a lot of situations that Blank were aware of. Blank briefly went over a few of these situations and how they were handled. Regarding the gang shooting, Blank went through 3 separate border rights hearings, which is unprecedented. He added, nobody goes through more than one and feels Blank kept trying. Blank looked like Mark Furman type racist since Blank Gaines was black. Even after Blank completely cured of any wrongdoing, Blank agreed to a $250 settlement was a result of the $25 million lawsuit Attorney Johnny Cochran filed because of anything over 100,000 needs more than one signature. Blank agreed to pay Cochran with 3 checks of $90,000, and 70. After realizing this would look odd being so close to the 100,000 threshold, Cochran then requested 12 separate checks totaling $250, which he received. So, in this situation, they're talking about the Kevin Gaines murder, and Frank Liger went through 3 separate board rights hearings, which is unprecedented. Nobody goes through more than one. And they're alleging that they were trying to make Liger, who I know it is allegedly, look like racist like Mark Furman cop. And he was cleared of wrongdoing, but the city still paid $250,000. Johnny Cochran was on the case. And the payout was illegal because to avoid red flagging anything, as you can see, first they were supposed to get 3 separate checks, and then they requested 12 separate checks just to make it on the low, so it wouldn't go on the city's radar. Blank, the day after the gang shooting, Blank ordered Blank personal files to be audited, which was done by LAPD officer Blank concluded his audit on April 8, 1997. Blank maintained Blank personal file until June or July 1997, at which time he gave it back to the personnel and went on vacation. When Blank came back from vacation, he attempted to recheck out the file and found out it was missing. Blank from June or July 1997 until October 7, 1998, personal files was missing. During this time, Gaines Blank had friends, relatives working in the personnel department and would have access to his file. Blank immediately went Blank requesting to have Blank an immediate investigation, Blank, which Blank denied. Blank in August 1996, Gaines made a 911 telephone call from a gas station located, which ironically is the same location he died at from the Liger shooting. Wow. In August of 1996, Gaines made a 911 telephone call from a gas station located, which ironically is the same location he died at from the Liger shooting. Now, it's funny, right? They say Liger here, but all up there, they wouldn't say his name. So I think that was just a slip up. This 911 call, which Gaines did not identify himself during, was recorded, which Gaines stated in ADW, assault with deadly weapon occurred at Gaines gives the location he was living at, blank, blank, and that a victim was down by the pool area, and gave a description of the victim, which was the exact description of himself. After making this 911 call, LAPD officer and probation officer with him responded as they were in the area already. As blank and the probationary officer showed up, 2 more LAPD officers arrived. In this occurrence, Gaines arrived driving his Mercedes, confronted the LAPD officers, and refused to let them inside the residence area. Gaines was eventually handcuffed, as LAPD did not know he was, nor did Gaines identify himself. After being handcuffed, Gaines finally identified himself and subsequently filed a lawsuit against LAPD. Gaines eventually admitted to LAPD officer Blank of Harbor Division he did make the 911 telephone call, but no charge was ever fired against him. So why would this man go and call 911 on himself, then go back to the crib, police beat him there, he don't identify himself, he lets them cuff him? That don't make sense. After this incident, another situation occurred involving Gaines where he was in possession of another LAPD officer personally designed handcuffs that had been reported stolen. Gaines went to a board of rights hearing, and coincidentally, Internal Affairs lost his file until 1 week after the 1-year statute of limitations expired. So, Kevin Gaines was being protected. If I'm correct, it comes out later that Kevin Gaines was an informant. You know, he was sleeping with Suge, baby mama, and all that. In September 1996, Gaines was assigned to a desk at his workplace 2 days prior to the Tupac shooting until 2 weeks after. Gaines alleged was on a special assignment, yet was seen in Las Vegas hanging out. Blank, Captain Blank allegedly allowed Gaines to be on special assignment. Blank added that former Deputy Chief Blank inner circle at LAPD and believes they all are corrupt because of what they allowed to go on regarding Gaines. Blank and other officers. Around February 5th, 1998, Blank spoke with LAPD officers, and Blank and other LAPD officers who pulled Blank into a meeting room and told him Blank specifically ordered out some Blank evidence under another name because it was Blank that involved Blank cases, ordered Blank from evidence regarding one Blank case 1 week after. Blank, the shooting death of Gaines. Blank stated she was called Blank when he gave the name Blank. At this time, Blank worked with Blank at Rampart Division. Blank called after he was questioned and told Blank because it involved his case. Blank was subsequently interviewed by LAPD IA and stated she wrote Blank name and serial number when he called, then told her this is Blank when she knew it was really Blank. Told IA she knows everybody's voice because people like Blank calls her daily to check out evidence for cases. LAPD went Blank and Blank this investigation, and Blank was never charged with anything. So, on March 2nd, 1998, less than 1 month after aforementioned scenario occurred, Blank, the movies Black Hawk Down and Heat, a new television called Robbery Homicide, Blank helped with setting up the set because of his expertise. Stated while on the set one day, Blank saw out Blank after Blank read in the newspaper that Blank killed Gaines. Blank shook his hand, Blank shooting Gaines. Then told Blank he was Blank at a party when he met Gaines, and Blank overheard Blank tell somebody half-heartedly he wishes he could get rid of somebody. When Gaines Blank heard this, they approached Blank and told him Blank could take anybody out and nobody would never know. After this encounter with Gaines, Blank told Blank he sent a letter to Blank stating that had happened. Blank never heard back from Blank. Blank gave his telephone number to Blank and told him he probably still has a copy of this letter on his computer. Blank told Special Agent Blank He will call and try to obtain a copy of this letter. Blank stated he believed Blank and other LAPD. Blank mentioned refused to investigate scenarios which allegedly involved Blank and other recruits. Blank noted the Biggie Smalls murder was taken away Blank once they started uncovering that LAPD officers might be involved in that murder. Blank added Blank give it to the IA, which basically buried the case. So, what we know is, from all of this, is the feds know who killed Biggie. It was police officers. And they were all told to let it go. And some of these officers, the Dave Max and Amir Muhammad, those dudes was all had protection from the police chief. So all this stuff right here, I don't know what it is. Okay. So, field officers are authorized to restrict cases being handled. Details on 10.3.201. Reference communication advised that cases were to no longer be restricted or withheld from uploading in ACS without approval of the assistant director of either the Criminal Investigation Division, National Security Division, or the Counterterrorism Division, depending upon the classification of the case. Since this policy changed, the SID had reviewed the continued need by the field to restrict some types of sensitive case classifications. Based upon this review, special agents in charge are authorized to restrict an AC's investigation in the following case classifications. Okay, a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Do we got more stuff here? Requesting $250 for case funds to pay for a copy of the complete investigation file of former LAPD detective blank regarding police corruption details. Writers request an aforementioned case funds to pay for a copy of the entire investigation case file of the former LAPD detective blank. This case file is a 1-year investigation into misconduct, including drug dealings and murder by former LAPD officers blank and others. This entire case was developed prior to blank being arrested. Source who is not in a position to testify provided the following information blank. There are LAPD officers who are currently working for Death Row Records in the city of Compton as bodyguards, and that they are also trafficking drugs. Blank, these things. Drug trafficking are still going on in Compton. Blank, the alleged LAPD officers who were doing this drug trafficking, as well as a list of all LAPD officers who worked as bodyguards for Death Row Records. Source who is not in a position to testify provided the following information. Source met with writer and special agent blank and provided a list of names and telephone numbers for all blank Christopher Biggie Smalls blank attorneys and list of their witnesses that will be deposing concerning the federal civil lawsuit she has pending against the LAPD. Source will also say that she will provide a copy of the actual lawsuit filed and all update information. Source stated the basis of blank lawsuit blank is the attempt cover-up by blank from forbidding a full investigation to alleged shooter was in the sequence of events leading up to the shooting. Source met with writer, provided 3 tapes and 1 DVD regarding caption case. Sources also provided a copy of the federal civil lawsuit filed by Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls' family, regarding his death. Source stated blank would be willing to meet with the writer whenever possible. Source that the attorneys handling a civil lawsuit would probably like to meet writer as well to discuss all the information they have regarding Christopher Wallace's death. Okay, U.S. Department of Justice, Federal Bureau. Okay, on March 9th, 1997, Christopher Wallace, a.k.a. Notorious Big, was murdered as he left the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles. Wallace in the middle of a three-car Caliban. Several sources identified the shooter as a light-skinned black. We already read all this. Yep, the Shrine of Tupac. So is this just the same paperwork all over again, folks? So they just getting all type of information. Individual who was not in a position to testify provided the following information. Individual contacted writer and stated that he or she was contacted by Santa Monica Police Department. Officer who has read about individuals' involvement regarding certain Los Angeles Police Department cases. After individual explained he had a contact at the FBI, the SMPD officer stated he would like to meet with the FBI and provide information regarding corrupt officers in Santa Monica. Individual who had never heard or spoken to the said they was going to set up a meeting. Meeting went to return. Yeah, it's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Request for travel approval to New Orleans, Louisiana is requested that on May 12, 2023 and returning May 14. Special Agent Blanket LA started full-time investor working on the case. Be authorized to travel expenses in order to meet with Attorney Blank, who represents Blank, Christopher Wallace, who is deceased, and Blank, a movie producer flying in from London for this meeting, who has interviewed and video recorded several witnesses of captioned case who have provided contradictory information regarding the death. Yeah, New England has been notified to support this request. So they got somebody coming, and there was a movie made, and dudes got on the scene. Like, dudes do these interviews, they tell different stories. Request to work Monday, May 27th, Memorial Day. So they're asking on May 27th, the actors are scheduled to fly to Winston, North Carolina to interview. Blank will be interviewed regarding Blank illegal sale of fire. Meeting with attorney and movie producer on May 13, 2003. Special agent and LAPD started Blank. Full-time investigators working on case method with attorney Blank, who represents Blank, Christopher Wallace, who is deceased, and Blank, a movie producer who flew in from London for this meeting, has lots of information and has put out several documentaries regarding the death of Christopher Wallace and Tupac Shakur. Blank wants the FBI to participate and sometimes conduct interviews in or depositions with his office in the next several months, both in Las Vegas, New York. Witness regarding Wallace tip. A list of those potential interviews was provided by special agents for both cities. Provided serious context and their telephone numbers for people he believes are important witnesses to speak with. Blank added he has a huge inventory of unedited interviews he has filmed for his documentaries that would be very helpful to this investigation. So this is just some miscellaneous stuff. 3 people approached Story at hospital, stated they saw the car and shooter. These people have not been ID'd, picked out Blank. He stated he saw nothing. He said he saw nothing. Picks Blank and 6 as being next to Biggie's car prior to the shooting. Heard shots fired, did not see anything. AKA heard the shots fired, did not see anything. Inglewood police officer saw a hand of shooting. Blank at a war ceremony, hired to work security, LA. Blank heard shots, picked up casings at shooting site. They were behind victim's car when shot. Blank was seen at the party with 2 unknown BMs. Black males were seen running from the shooting scene with one unknown black male. New York good friend blank with Biggie was at the party with Biggie blank blank blank. An LA-based rapper of Death Row's Dog Pound at the time. Blank name was security guard at the shooting scene who blank saw the entire shooting. LA blank blank and a lot of Southside Crips blank knows them all stated blank went to the party where Biggie was shot. Blank spoke with two Muslims at the party. Blank saw several people, including two Muslims wearing gray suits like the shooter was. Blank videotape near the shooting. LAPD has the tape. Blank the videotape before it was turned over to the LAPD. Blank, blank. All these people are together when the shooting occurred. Okay, man, I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to take a picture so I can remember where I stopped off at. And I'll get into, gotta be kidding me, right? I'll get into reading some more of this later on or tomorrow. On May 12th and 13th, 203 special agent performed the following investigation. Special agents, along with LAPD Sergeant Blank, met with Blank and Blank, attorney blank who works blank on this case was conferencing for most of the meeting from his law office in Colorado. The following is a list of notes, comments, suggestions regarding the Biggie Smalls murder and potential leads and interviews to follow up on. Blank, who did he talk with at the FBI who let him down? What police officers work blank at death row and officers that work blank? How did these officers get paid? What kind of events, hours, or how often did they work, and who would they report to? Locate the tape. Yeah, this is just all mumbo jumbo. Like I said, man, I'm gonna get on out of here. I've been on here for a while. I'll get back to this because, as you can see, a lot of this stuff is repeating itself. We read all this already. But like I always say, if you're a supporter of the channel, much love and respect. And if you one of them haters out here, cut this shit.